Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another episode of At the Bar. It's just a weekly talk show where we talk about, pretty much all things bar, 1v1, strategy, upcoming events, and welcome back our co-host, LSR.
Hey, Barcast. Thanks for having me on this show. I heard you have some good replays today. A
Yeah,
couple of big boys have played.
for sure. Things are ramping up in the SpringTv tournament, so we're approaching the finals. I think that should be the upcoming match. But yeah, we have some samples from the Andy versus Teddy series and a couple of sparring matches between Zlo and Ragna, which I believe they have yet to play their series.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited to see what those games have new.
Yeah, and on some different maps, no doubt. So this should be I think, first map in the series in week 2 or week 4 of the SpringTv tournament. So we're going to be playing on Bar R. We don't see this a lot. And our two players, of course, spawning in the bottom right as the blue pieces, we have Andy. And spawning in the top left, playing as the red pieces, Teddy.
I already see some diversions in openings, Randy going for the 1.8 and then 1.8, while Teddy got the two upper mixes. I personally love Randy's approach and do similar wind early, but Teddy going for that solar on really high wind so far. Wind is 20 and he's getting a solar and didn't finish his mix, so already pretty diverse start.
I think he ran his energy bar down too low to start a wind turbine, even though it's high. If it's not built, it's not giving you energy yet, so you can stall building a wind turbine.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like a pretty different approach. I think generally the wind is pretty good. You might get a solar or two, but I even you can eat the cactus on the way as well there. Going for the solars is an interesting approach with the max metal, but maybe it's consistent. But it is Randy who got the first grunt out to the field. Interestingly, what do you think? Both players playing core on this map.
Yeah, too much terrain for Janus to come into play. You need a lot of economy to support that, so possibly why we didn't see either player pick arm.
So yeah, without the vehicles, it seems that the players are confident in playing fully the infantry. Yeah, you're right. Probably usually the thugs also come to the play. I mean, the plasma bots and their core also has a little bit more HP, and they're pretty good on this map. And I don't know much about the rocket bots, but
thugs are good against commanders as well. So if you anticipate some kind of forward commander play, they're so strong. Against deflecting that, taking out LLTs. I mean, they're pretty stable unit.
It still seems interesting that Teddy sticks to still making mostly solar and just staying in a base and bumping. Haven't been able to expand much at all, but only Randy also getting his mixes right now. About the vehicles, it's interesting. I think it is one of the conditions if you get onto the hill of the enemy, right? You expand to your lower 3 mix and then you get on a hill. If you make a vehicle lab there, they're pretty good around that spot, even though they get flanked, but at least they don't have to climb much terrain.
It's a good point. I mean, park a couple of Arty on that hill and you'd be really hard pressed to get that out of that position. Or just even fighting on down this hill is just such an advantage.
Yeah. Alright. No first blown drone yet. A little bit of skirmish between the two grunts, and Teddy has positioned scout on Randy's hill, while Randy doesn't have so much great expansion, but it is Randy who has expanded first with the commander mix, and Teddy apparently gonna go to the bottom, which is interesting.
Yeah, so many deviations, so much in this game. Teddy immediately pushing over his hill towards his opponent's 3 mexes. And we could see a pretty early commander interaction here. Randy's heading in the same direction here, so kind of fortunate, unfortunate, depending on how you look at it.
Oh, for sure. Well, Randy already lost with the first thug. The second is already trailing back, so he's looking to mount some pressure, otherwise Teddy might outgrow him a little bit in the terms of speed and grunt numbers.
Yeah, we don't see any grunts or any thugs on his production queue so far, just going straight grunts.
Well, he will be able to, I think, generate more income with that south expansion. I trust in Teddy's echo skill, and he already has a really efficient construction turret in his base, pumping units and eating cactus as well. So everything's been like pretty efficient for Teddy so far. If we look at the metal advantage, I don't see much, and Teddy's even trailing a little bit in the metal, but
Maybe he just knows the
yeah.
math on the just going these solar collectors off of a 4-mech start, essentially. He went 4 mexes before factory. So maybe he just knows the math to get that fast construction turret up.
It's doable. I mean, there is some walking space, so you can get the four mechs, and I think he got like 3 into 1 solar into 1 mech. It's pretty greedy opening. I guess you could be punished by fleas. Maybe that was his like idea to counterplay Randy. All right, thugs walking into the they were. Let me look. Yeah, your 1x speed isn't as great as mine.
Yeah, 5.08.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm catched up, and it looks like Randy losing both of the thugs essentially, and now pushing into the LLTs.
Right, and Teddy's getting these 3 mexes in the bottom left for free.
Well, those are pretty good if you can defend them. Placing some LLTs. Of course, the mechs and the LLT needs some time to get paid off, given that Bar R doesn't have like really rich mixes.
I mean, it's a nice little trade. I mean, Andy got a couple of mexes and LLT radar for his trouble, but I would say if we look at the positions of the commanders, Teddy is still.
Well, Randy has like pretty offensive position. He's able to dismount at least 1 mex, I think. No, the mex wasn't built, so.
Denying
Yeah,
the
but
position.
the raid is coming in, and if it hits windmills, it wouldn't be great. That's like majority of Randy's income. Might be crucial. It looks like grunts actually make to the wind turbines and get all of them. And I think it was only 1 spacing between of them, not 2 spacing. So if you, I think because it looked like they chained pretty much. But yeah.
That is a lot of damage. 2 mexes, all the wind economy. It's going to force Andy to build a couple of solar collectors even.
Maybe that's why if you look at the Teddy's base, Teddy's mixed in some wind in the back, but on the front it's all solars. Maybe it's actually for the durability reasons. You know?
No.
That can be like pretty crucial.
Yeah, especially, I mean, this seems like a really good point to attack from, of course. Like, players know you can come down this hill and do a lot of damage.
The hill is really hard to radar, but yeah. Yeah, one thing is like the way Teddy moved on the hill, he made the radar. I also tried to make the radar on the bar or on the mountain as much as possible.
This one here, this one here, yeah. Great radar positioning.
As with all the Teddy's plays, it all makes sense in like 5 minutes in on.
Yeah, I really wanted to come back and do some of these like build order analysis for a lot of these are going to be in the Bar Pro League, which heads up the qualifiers are starting for that next week as of, what is that, September 16th?
Yeah.
So those are going to be up, guys. So I was going to try and make some build order videos off of some of like Teddy's games, Andy, of course, like Slow and Ragnar. So
some scuffle on the hill. I think the Teddy spotted the commander, but decides to retreat a little bit.
Couple more thugs and aggravators built in for both players here, so.
Yeah, well, the aggravators from the Teddy were as response to the thugs. He wanted some units to skirmish the thug push, because the thug push was like 2 thugs with a commander. They can do a lot with the in the hands of a micro. So yeah, Teddy doing probing attack, like scouting what's happening in the middle, but so far he's content with securing the 3 mechs because he has scouted on his north that Andy hasn't been able to reach his 3 mechs. So Teddy knows he's kind of up, just needs to consolidate and make more troops. And yeah, it's rough for Randy now to recover.
Absolutely. Like, how do you get back from this position? I'm kind of thinking of ways Andy can get an advantage here.
It's extremely hard. The most, I think the biggest reason is, of course, because the map is only 8x8. So I think the Randy does the first moves, right? He tries to siege the 3 mechs, but, you know, sadly has to retreat those troops. And, you know, Teddy is not going to give him a chance to go in right now. He could technically run for the middle and go for the base, but Randy decides to, you know, to defend his own base, and Yeah, Teddy's just pulling back and buying time. He'll play safe and make more LLTs even while improving his stuff. But I think it's fine. Usually the bar goes like this, right? I've seen multiple games go to energy converters as
Right,
well at the
right.
start.
Even have this geothermal plant that's available for both players. I kind of think of these actually just as 3 or 4 energy converters.
Oh yeah.
What
Oh yeah, if you think of the investment, yeah.
Right, what is it? How much do they give you? 300 energy, right? And the energy converter takes 70, right? So it's about 4 energy converters you can support off of this one geothermal plant. So if it does go to split map and, like you said, energy converters, it's definitely an option.
Yeah, I mean the wind is generally right high. Like as you can see, the wind is pretty good by its own. So even a couple of them, right? I'm not going like full economy, but you know, it might be even like if you get like 2 energy converters, it might be getting like that one like center max if you are a little bit behind or you can control opponent's map because I mean they're even dipping into the metal mixes as well and his own third at the top. So
they pay for
looking to
themselves so
increase his
fast.
lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teddy doesn't joke around and usually in these tournament games. He played versus Safe versus Law as well on a couple of maps. Content with having the additional, and as we can see, Teddy has gotten additional tech in the form of
Aircraft plants coming up.
yeah, because I think he expects that Randy might be on the windmills again, so maybe reboot. So I think that's a win condition. Plus shurikens is really good as well for actual attacks on enemy positions.
Yeah, you could take a fight on any one of these 3 lanes here, like coming up this hill in the center. Could paralyze a lot of those grunts.
And those thugs, while defeating that attack, don't look too hot with the speed, and that he was able to inflict both the casualties by killing the construction bot, the mechs, and I think the radar. And yeah, that he not even focusing on producing shurikens right now. Gonna go for the bombers, trying to starve out and just prepare for the Randy's thug push.
So many grunts. Hey, he just drew a line across half the map. He's thinking of where to attack next.
Yeah.
Just content to keep his forces in the middle to kind of deflect any attack. And like you said, he's just playing safe. We've got radars, LLTs going up everywhere.
Well, he still hasn't reinforced all of the resource nodes he could get. And as I mentioned, he could even be in a position to get a Geo soon. How many like light defenses he has under the hell.
These aggravators doing a lot of work here. 4 kills on this aggravator, clearing out another LLT.
And Randy just needs to move his troops back and forth to maintain some like active defense, but Randy's gonna try to reinforce like a lot of LLTs on the hill to protect the next pushes, and it looks like he's gonna decide to jump on the south after juking most of the troops to the north. So maybe with the numbers advantage, something can happen. Vegan's in territory with the Nexus and does manage to score like
Yeah.
at least initial push wasn't that great. But yeah, Teddy reinforcing with most of the troops and fall back, so with the reserves game. So what Randy does is kill a couple of mixes and establish like a radar position so he can see. Teddy went for like a little small counterattack. Or probably didn't see where the commander is, or I don't know, I think now he did spot at the very end, possibly.
He sees a commander. He's even got a scout coming across the map, so these Finches are going to scout everything in the main base. Where is the economy?
Look for those wind turbines. Or hit, yeah. But Randy has been trying to just raise forces and do one decisive attack elsewhere, but yeah, it looks like Tesdy has this game with securing. No way in to fly the commanders and
get some kind of snipe, right? Win the game that way. He's got 25 grunts sitting in front of his commander.
all he needs to do is like bomb, resurrect the lost side where when they expanded his forces and keep his main army and reinforcements next to his commander, and then that should be game. Bandit desperately trying to make the solar collector, but yeah, he doesn't even have a metal income, so with that, I think that he's looking now to explore what happens in the metal.
Right, he's stepping forward with his grunt army. These paralyzer drones are coming in for an attack. Andy did a good job of backing up here, but this is just like an overwhelming number of grunts. He's gonna clean up through all those paralyzed EMP grunts and take a really cost-efficient trade there.
And there's GG from the Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, yeah. I usually like actually building like either the beamer or the LLT on the side. It's really brutal. I don't know what Randy missed. Maybe radar on the hill, likely at the start, because he did let like a pretty big amount of troops just went in and by and killed power, and it all spiraled down.
Pretty much,
but,
yeah.
Teddy have to give credit to the Teddy's build order as well. I mean, this was all of the good things. He did manage to double expand slowly. The solar start was really consistent, and if it worked, it would work regardless of wind conditions. So,
right.
Like, the wind looked so good that it was supposed to be better, and he managed to identify like that. The south mixes are easy to take and just reinforced and poked and. Didn't work out for Randy's thug pushes. It doesn't seem like the thugs are initially really good the way to go. And yeah, given that there's like 3 lanes, I think that's correct, right? If it's like one focused lane, maybe the thugs could work, but
super quick thugs, right? I'll have to take a look at and see when did Teddy know Andy's commander was moving. Like, did he make the decision to go to the bottom left mexes because of the commander positioning, or was his intention to kind of head down to those triple mexes all along? I'd have to see.
At the start, I think it was. I think it's a good builder. I don't know. I don't think like going to the middle where usually players go is that great. Maybe if you push your commander early, but Teddy played safe. He was in a base for a longer time, extended as well. So.
Yeah, you got the construction turret and about 6 or 7 wind turbines on top of those solar collectors, so really stable eco.
He kept safe, he made grunts, he made sure like all of the straight lanes is resurrected, then he went, I think, to the bottom. He made the radar on the hill. I think that's, I always try to make the radar. I like it like in the middle spot, but still you have to be able to see everything from that
on the
side,
opposite side, yeah.
Because I think Randy was kind of surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that one attack pretty much won the game. I mean, it was, you see it a lot. It's like 8 minutes down, 8 minutes later, they end up winning the game from a move that happened earlier on, but that's kind of the style. So, yeah, going into the Ravage remake game.
Great.
So here we are, game 2. Another great 1v1 map, which is from StarCraft, Xel'Naga Caverns, for those of you who recall the old Wings of Liberty map. Here we are on Ravage Remake between 2 of the better players in the game, so Andy versus Teddy.
Looks like Randy God is like rating a little bit of above other guys. I think Zlo is also like 55. I haven't played in a while. It's amazing. There's a lot of 40s as well. There.
Yeah.
So yeah, easiest way to get the badge, I think. Oh well, they reverted the badge now to hours played, I think. But
right.
Interesting.
There's been a couple of updates recently. Of course, like the badge change, like you mentioned. There's the change to bots. They buffed the aggravator and nerfed the artillery.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the rocket bots are stronger, right? Yeah. Sounds pretty good. Changes. Oh, interesting. Now they're mirroring more or less each other. Interesting. Low wind. I don't know. Nobody's liking my approach with 1 mix and then the 2 titles.
Yeah.
It worked, right? I think they're pretty good. They're consistent. I don't know. Maybe this gets you a little bit more start and a little bit more position. But
I've seen Zelo open, what is it, the amphibious construction vehicle mine
Yeah,
layer,
yeah, and
and
then
like,
do mine jumps, yeah,
yeah.
into the hill. Yeah, yeah, that was also I explored that option. I think we even talked, but I'm pretty sure Slow also is capable of independent discovery ever since he learned about the mine jumps.
Hmm.
He likes to really play creative options. I think he has won me twice with just using the air, which is ridiculous.
Like air starts.
Yeah, yeah, he has won me. He was snatched me 2 games off with just an air opener. He steal my constructor. It was like a really bad thing, and once he
Oh my
bombed me
goodness. Oh.
because I'm usually because like I'm probably the best player to do it against because generally I just like try to do things really efficient. I don't scout much. I don't pressure early. Maybe just like the old school play, I would just like focus really hard on my like quick build and just
Right.
try to get defend an eco advantage. So if I get bombed, that's a big surprise.
I had
All
Chisato do
right.
the same thing on Red Comet, actually. He opened air first on that map and it went bomber, paralyzer drone. And it definitely made a game of it, for sure. Really mirrored build so far. The third construction vehicle coming out for Teddy. It's like Andy's got one just about a little bit behind, and both commanders are moving out of the main base here. Really like this forward radar position from Andy. Can build it right on the hill up here as well. There's a lot of good radar spots on this map, on these ridges here in the center.
Yeah, yeah, I get the ridges as well. Yeah, this map is extremely defensible as well. Like 4 mix start, that's
Oh, pause the game. Yeah, there's these like triple mexes spread out all across the map, so really concentrated positions of eco spread out between these maybe forward expansions.
I'd say the players so far have been like timid. I usually do like two mix openers. Like I try to go for the middle and then
Mm-hmm.
with the con get and depending and squeeze some tidal in the little lakes we have here with
Yeah,
the
right.
commander.
Right here in the center, you can throw a tidal generator in there.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
get
why not?
more than one, or is it just one fits in?
Yeah, I think you can get like 2 for sure. I think it's it's 2. No, even 3 by the looks of it. Might be disbalanced. Yeah, one can get even 4, so
See,
pretty good.
our red player is playing a little bit greedy here, foregoing that LLT on the right side. Looks like he's finally has one queued up with the expanding construction bot, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. Both these commanders are getting to the center relatively the same time. To your point about playing so passively, I mean, there's just that one little choke point to leading to the main base, and I mean, if you're playing conservatively, I don't see how you can kind of take damage in the really early game on this map.
It's really interesting with Teddy's LLT's positioning. Usually you get raided from the back as well. I think
Right.
I've beaten some players with raid from the back, and preemptively starting with an LLT means like he's really intent on securing it. So, and yeah, I have to give credit. He's already stacking double LT, not double LT, but yeah, 2 LLTs in the north as well.
Right,
So.
for sure.
Yeah, but they might get intercepted, but I think maybe a grunt and an LLT. But he has no energy, he has to maybe put the Deegan stall. Alright.
It's like a couple of shots are going to come out. Those grunts are going to be forced back.
Yeah, I think the grunt in the front was a good call. Didn't get, lost nothing and actually killed 2 guns, so yeah, paying back. Teddy is definitely, probably, I think, my favorite player due to the style, because I think I really like his style as well.
I mean, I'd have to agree, but he has, I mean, to his style, like, what is it? He just plays perfect macro style, or is it just good decision
Yeah, he
making?
just slowly, I think it's like being able to play a defensive macro game, generally, like making these LLTs. I know a lot of players do, but like Teddy will try to five from up control. I haven't seen like extremely big, and when he does cheeses, he does like crazy cheeses as well. Like he doesn't get mexes even, or no, he gets like mexes and just makes like first 3 units like blitzes or 4 and sends them across like big map. So
It's nice having that wide range. He's got a couple of aggravators out here in the center, so we're gonna have to see how much value you can get from these.
Aggravator is a good choice. Either he expects, either he thinks LLTs is really good and expects Randy to also have like a lot of LLTs. I would generally think that, you know, it's pretty hard, but yeah, if you make a lot of LLTs everywhere, you can try to skirmish for position, and it looks like he's still doing it here. And this style is working, and I'm actually surprised to see that, you know, Randy hasn't been able to find position to decisively attack, so he doesn't have skirmishers on its own. But interestingly enough, Randy has switched techs completely, so it's really interesting
He's going
what he's
into the
building
vehicle
right
plan,
now.
yeah.
And with like the pounders as well, so I don't know, man. Actually, I think pounders versus aggravators isn't that great.
No, you can just kite
what you
them, right? I mean, look at the range. It's 315 for the pounder versus 475 for the aggravator. And
yeah, and it's like, and you cannot actually chase those, so you can get endlessly kited. So, is this meant as a surprise attack? Let's see how much the. But medium tanks I love more versus the rocket bots because they're pretty agile to kill them if they're exposed, and you know, the LLTs don't do that well versus medium tanks generally as a pushing force.
nor do commanders. You can, with, you know, decent micro, you can really put pressure on commanders with 4 or 5 medium tanks.
Oh yeah, for sure, but now it's Teddy's time to do some decisive attack. Runs into Exploiter first. Sadly, Randy isn't microing, doesn't repair the Exploiter. I think with the repairs and, yeah, maybe the LLT, you could inflict a little bit more damage to the troops, but...
Could have at least pulled back those construction bots back to the second Exploiter.
Alright. Yeah, Teddy's still fighting bravely, single with 4 rocket bots, you know. Using repair, confident that Randy wouldn't go for his commander, so able to direct Randy's attack in a different place. I wouldn't say the Teddy has much of them, but he has a couple of thugs, and you know, has to keep the wrist bot.
And one's gonna go down, so he's escorting these pounders across the map, and
it's a serious amount of pressure, but Teddy responding also with a walk to the base and gonna catch artillery out of the position, but yeah, the thugs are not that great, and the wind is really low, and Teddy just can't spend the metal. He's actually being ahead by making so Randy is able to spend his money, what he has, pretty good, and
he's fighting in the middle. These aggravators are getting pretty low. Teddy's doing a great job of microing these. So much value out of these 4 initial aggravators, where they have 10 kills apiece between these 4. He's creeping onto the left side with double construction bots, trying to cut off these 3 mexes on the high ground. He's going to at least deny Randy's attempt to secure that position. Those 2 construction bots have to pull back, and one of them almost ends up going down. I like how he didn't lose these 2 pounders. He just kind of rotated through the map, didn't commit to any kind of attack, and throw away those or donate those units in the middle.
It looks like Randy didn't leave much Rex with his tanks on the top, but it looks like 2 tanks are gonna be trapped. Randy decides to send them on the top, but Teddy now rotating to secure his original 3 mexes after taking Randy's metal mexes. So. And still managing to do raids on the back, but this time he runs into the Exploiter, and as you can see, the repairs are very effective against the Gratson.
Teddy has both of these high grounds on the left side, so he's got Exploders on the right, and he naked expanded these ones on the left, so for now he has more of the map. More eco. So 32 metal per tick to Andy's 22, so definitely has like a 50% metal advantage at the moment, so really the clock is on Andy to make a play here.
Yeah, Randy's gonna siege that north expansion. He tried to do the grunt attack, but you know, Exploders are tricky things to deal with them. So, interesting choice to secure them faster, and Teddy now is already playing efficiency game. Slowly gonna resurrect all of the tanks that isn't there, consolidate his own thug switch, which I do love. I think that's the correct play. Runs into thugs is pretty strong on this map. Unless you can get some value out of aggravators. Yeah.
This many thugs
Vehicles.
are really strong against commanders too, so you can't really pressure them off of your tanks.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Uh, and they do really well versus pounders. I think I wasn't. Oh, not as I
Not
speak. They
these
get
founders,
like
yeah.
squished, but you know, I still think the thugs are. I mean, Ragnar coached me this. He beat me like really hard with the against my pounder pushes back when the pounder already was pretty popular. But yeah, once you
Some, some nice kiting there in the middle. Eventually with the thugs and
ooh, the flame turret on the top is just
Right.
roasting the artillery. Manages to kill the artillery itself, and with the defense behind is like that. And Randy's already on the field looking for opportunities.
This is a lot of pressure here. So many thugs. His commander is surrounded at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Teddy actually going in like could get cut off. I don't like Teddy's position here at all. Sadly, Randy didn't see. Maybe now he will spot them, and because it looks like Randy could just drive up, and Teddy realizes that and backs off as he can. But yeah, with the reinforcements and a couple of pullbacks, you know, Randy's now himself a little bit in trouble. By seeing the commander and Teddy wisely retreats, knowing he's like full well ahead in this game. So to just make like LLTs and reconsolidate his army, and yeah, because he holds the majority of the mixes so far. 32 versus 20 metal income.
Still, it's going on for sure. Yeah, I mean, Randy's got a bunch of artillery now, so he could get some value over time with these, but I think it's a little bit too late.
Oh yeah, I don't think he has time. Like he went for the push. The push worked to some extent, but was halted by the thugs and resbots. And yeah, lacking those hill mixes, you know, is also not really good if you lose both of the sides and aren't unable to at least kill them.
This Dragon's Maul turret killed the other two already on that far left side, and yeah, I mean that's the 10 mass swing we see. It's like plus what was that, +6 for Teddy and -6 for Andy. That would definitely equalize the score.
And energy income also twice as much. Teddy could comfortably go even into the energy converter meta, right? 33,000 excess. But yeah, it looks like with the thugs it's pretty much game. He does still move them a little bit, and Randy going to get a little bit of his own metal scraps back, but Teddy's there raising and repairing all of this stuff, and
Yeah, so much value with these for his bots at the moment.
take control of the mixes in this panel. Yeah, it's interesting to see that the I thought generally that the core vehicles do really great versus core bots, but I don't think on these map, like on this tight map, you can see the thugs are just a little bit better somehow overall, because once it's like open territory and it's like the incisors versus
grunts, right.
yeah, they do extremely well, you would think, right? The core vehicles versus core bots, but on the tighter maps the thugs are actually pretty all right, you know. They do well versus pounders. The medium tanks don't have as much space to run off, and yeah, and you know, res bots are really good as well, I think.
Yeah, especially if you can kind of control these positions or know where battles are going to be going for an extended period of time. So, I mean, these res bots were all the way back here at these three mexes when they first came out, and have just been gaining value the whole time as Teddy's
Yeah, I
pushed
wouldn't
into
judge. I think Randy has been looking to choose, like, as we also see on that game, he's been looking to choose like at least the more straightforward pushy games. I don't know, he made like tanks and he went straight to the enemy's heart, right?
Right.
Maybe, you know, maybe he figured that if, you know, if he goes to the base and kills him and can defend with the pounders his own base, he should win, right? Because I think that's partly true. If you get to enemies' energy production, which is only on that hill, right? If you manage to get in there
Right.
and kill most of the stuff, you won the game for sure. It isn't like, I don't know, I see this crack where you know, run your constructor in the back and then make more windmills.
Oh, perfect windmill spot. I love that map for that. Like, you just get that free real estate if your opponent opens vehicles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And the efficiency with the res bots is like, I mean, Teddy has lost now, right now, even also went into the Yeah, he lost them. Was the artillery almost hitting Randy's commander himself and did a little bit of damage. All right. Yeah, well, I wanted to ask, like, what's Teddy's next step? Will he go air? But he already has made a step in which we missed a little bit.
Yeah, Tech 2 is already out.
As a can afford the Tech 2 and is just still gonna decide to make the mixes and gonna go into the Sheldons.
Love this playstyle. I mean, he's got his T2 max, one T2 max already up. He's got 5 construction turrets, tons of E. He's finally spending all of that mass, but this aircraft plant just finished, so he can make scouts, get good information, make a couple of bombers to really...
Yeah, and then figure out what the enemy is up to. Yeah.
Right. They get such an underutilized piece of tech, like, and seeing it immediately after the Tech 2 is just like, well, now that you have this, like, more options on the battlefield with your units, go ahead and make a scout to, you know, see what the best option would be.
Yeah, it's interesting how Teddy plays. That's why I have any respect. I mean, maybe he, you know, takes like things like maybe even too slow and defensive and didn't like make more units and or just Teddy likes to, you know, expand, grow, and scale everything. You know, each soldiers be really efficient. So Randy at the end, the seasonal way to win and calls the GG. All right.
Well, we're really well played. And I know Andy's got some pretty strong builds on that map too. So definitely knows what style he likes. I've seen him make that RD switch into vehicles to like 7, 8, 12 artillery. Right, he'll just keep making those.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like polarizing strategy or my enemy doesn't expect him. Yeah, I don't think. I think I've tried a couple of times in Ramage with like the vehicle pushes. I don't know. It seems like underwhelming. There's some good things about if you start with vehicles. You can, versus these grunts, you could mine certain places because it's super choky, right? So the mines they can work extremely well, right? You could like with one medium mine, you might be able to blow out there. But all right, so here we hit on a completely different map, the Mithril Mountain, right?
Yeah, Mithril Mountain, and with 2 different players, so here we are, a little bit of a sparring match between two 55 players.
Interesting. In the starting orders right here, I don't know, man. How do you play these map? Watch the meta. Where do you go? Everything looks so even. You have like multiple spots to reach. You could go back. You could get force. You could go on the hill. Hell, you can go mostly anywhere, right? So this circular setup where you have to run around and there's hill in the middle is really interesting. So
right. Yeah.
How do you approach this map? What do you think of it?
In 2v2s, I like to do a double comp push. You just strong push on one side so hard.
Right.
But in 1v1s, I think it's more or less like controlling this hill in the center. Even though these mexes are actually like way lighter.
Sometimes people don't build those even, like the middle ones.
I still think like having the high ground and being able to attack like through the map is... Because otherwise you end up in this really like, well, do I attack left or do I attack right? It's like, how do you...
but isn't like, you cannot go with the vehicles right up there, so it's only for the bots, right?
No, you can go vehicles on this lane here, yeah. So the other 2 sides bots, vehicles can't go.
Okay, yeah.
So,
so then those are the nuances. I don't know, I just don't recall seeing vehicles there, because I think usually I play this map 2v2, 3v3, and then it's mostly vehicles in the open ground.
For sure.
And, yeah, both players actually choosing to go vehicles for this board, both arms, so I don't think we'll see much hill action. Yeah.
Gonna be seeing the Janus, I'm assuming, at some point in this game, so...
Oh, I don't know, I think Ragnar will build up like a nice little blitz army of like scouts. Zlow's gonna make a lot of scouts, Ragnar's gonna make a counter scouts, then we're gonna see like 15 blitz, and then Ragnar will switch maybe to the... Stout Janus, I think, yeah, but let's see the expansions. I think on these maps, like these arm expands fast, it gives a lot of medals, so the first mech skills actually matter a lot, and if you lose constructor, it might be even like a GG, so it might be a shorter game. I don't know, actually, I haven't been spoiled at all. I don't know the game length or the winner.
This should be a really exciting series if they end up playing it. I don't believe they have yet, and would be a best of 7, right? So maybe some content for next week when these 2 finally play their semi-final match.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I would bet that this law has gotten like a lot of better. As from what I saw, also in a couple of games, like his scout builds are really interesting. Couple of new styles with new like improvements, and yeah, I do still like now what Ragnar is doing with the builds. Just
I've seen this a
pumping like a
lot from
lot of
him.
cons.
Yeah, yeah. He just
Double
opens
LLTs. So
two
he's
LLTs.
already expecting the Zlo to do like a lot of scouts. I think it happened with the ticks. So
Hmm. Yeah, they played a bunch of maps, a little like sparring or like a
right,
sparring session this day here.
all right. I like the Zlo's like kind of laziness. As you see, it's really organized in the way his build order. Like if you look at the constructors, his constructors that are expanding right now, he has like a guard on both of these, just chilling like a couple of units on all. I don't know if it's a good. I usually don't do that kind of thing. I do maybe patrol, but really interesting to just being able to, kind of. I like how Zlov handles the game, like with the divisioning his army, right? He likes like multi-prong attacks and all that stuff.
He's a strong all around player. I haven't seen him really cheese too much. He has an aggressive play style, but I, I don't think he's played long enough perhaps to like know those super specific cheese builds. But he definitely can do it all. I mean, he's got strong micro, strong macro.
Yeah.
Um, Not sure if I've seen too many of his like late game plays. 30+ minute games where you're
Yeah, I
deep into
think
T
that's
two.
that's we haven't seen that much T2 from Zlo. I think at all he likes to build massive. Like he would like make like a lot of medium tanks. Like that would be his approach to going to games. So yeah, I think if there was like a Ragnar Zlo, I think the Ragnar would like T2 first. I wouldn't expect Zlo to T2 first. And from what I've seen in tournaments, he sometimes actually like plays pretty timidly, right? He says like, yeah, he kind of macros and he doesn't do much aggression. It's more like he's like kind of thinking that there's like the enemy has more, and I get to in that trap as well sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard something good point. It was just like you make them have the pieces, you make them have the response. So it's like if you
Mm.
attack and they have to defend against it, I suppose, right? It's like either they do and you have to retreat, or they don't have anything there and you kind of get some damage. So
All right. Well, the first scuffle has ended with Ragnar defending most of his side of the map, so didn't lose much of anything. I don't think we missed here, and I don't think Zlo lost any constructor. Oh, he lost one
another one.
construction, but yeah.
Better trade
Well,
there.
that was the things that's impactful because right now Ragnar's gonna expand at like twice the rate on one side, right?
So fast. Yeah, he's got this double construction bond doing on the top.
But yeah, doesn't look like Zlob would be able to get them, but
Slow still has some of that mass in the bank as well, so
keeping the rainy day fun, yeah, for sure.
what is he got about 600 mass in the bank at the moment. And he's gonna lose his other construction bot. It's so low.
Oh, that would be big. That would be big for
Yeah.
Ragnar.
It's gonna end up going down.
It's really, really good, I mean, at this point. I mean, one expansion is halted. Ragnar's able to do also this attack, which you're now currently showing. That's also just getting in unnoticed. Gonna even run through the mixes. At this point, with Ragnar's advance, it might be evil just to drive by all the mixes, you know. He
Right.
doesn't have constructors on the one side. This one just, went away. So, but yeah, only managed to get one mix, so up to the Zlo to kinda expand further now.
Zlo is got a lot of build power out, but he's definitely behind on eco at the moment. He's got one construction.
Oh, trust me, Ragnar isn't that much behind with the construction
Oh, my
vehicles.
goodness,
There
yeah.
doesn't even go for the nanos. I think he'll go for. He really likes. He used to like nanos, and I used to like nanos, and then he started liking the construction vehicles. And I do agree. I mean, this isn't such a great wind map as well, so. They give a little bit of power. They're easy to scale. You don't have to think much. You can make like the magic ratio. It works really well as well. I myself usually don't make more than I think 6 is the maximum I'll ever make. I think anything over 4 is already a little bit of perversion, but you know it does work, and it uh,
Oh, are you talking about
is
like the
easily
tank
scalable.
to tank
Just
to
making
constructor?
all
Or?
your build power should only come from like moving vehicles approach. No construction turrets allowed.
I will say 4 construction turrets does seem, and 2 factories does seem to be about the sweet spot between like having
Yeah, I
that
think also
shifting
the
build
max.
power. Um,
Yeah, but early I think you can go for the 6, and on some maps you just like it's still nice to have them as a V claim, like on the comets as
yeah,
well.
and there's so many like being movable is so flexible. Like if you start taking engagements, if you start losing forward construction vehicles, you can send them out. Right? You obviously don't have the res bot
And
available.
for sure, there's also some value in the maps where there's like I don't know, where you are like easier to bomb. So because you know sometimes losing build power is also losing the game. You
Right,
can have all the
right.
metal energy in the world, but
And
if you're const
construction turrets are very squishy too. So like yeah, 2 3
yeah,
bombers
yeah,
can just
yeah,
like wipe out your build power.
yeah, yeah. Vehicles you can just like move out of the way when it gets bombed, as like Ragnar did in the 3v3 we did together. It's like amazing. Just you know, you just dodge the whole attack and nothing pays off, and you just go back to repairing.
And go repairing, assisting, reclaiming, what have you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
looks like Zlo finally got some forward construction vehicles back. He's got 2 on the left side or right side of the map expanding north. And he's blocking this bottom left, and Ragnar's kind of creeping into the bottom left corner with some
Oh,
LLTs.
the LLT3 line for sure, and that's one hell of a line. Should continue the line. Usually you draw it like across the map. Just,
Yeah, here we go. He just got more and more. He's finally
yeah, you see, you heard me. Perfect.
big attack here going towards 4 LLTs. I don't think you want to take that trade with the group of blitzes in tow. So Zlo smartly backing up here. Finally has some medium tanks made their way onto the field here so he can really start pressuring this top right location. And I would like to see these 2 armies join up, but we got medium tanks moving to the bottom left as well. Slow kind of being indecisive or just recognizing he has to defend both locations at one time, but it's just a commander and LLTs on the bottom left, so all the units from Ragnar can move up to the top right location. He's got Janice finally coming to the front line here.
Yeah, as I stressed in the previous stuff, I think it's a little bit dangerous here in general, but you see the Ragnar's approach, what we talked previously, like he has army on one side, the commander and LLTs on the other side, right? And the commander just acts like a bait there. I mean, I don't know if he can get killed. It looks like he could get killed if Zlov really knew that the commander is there.
Right. I'm not sure if he knows that, so down there in the bottom left.
Yeah, Ragnar split up army and maybe gotten even a chance. He's able to bamboozle Zloin a little bit and gonna try and run out through this expansion completely undetected.
Big pick off here. Yeah, it's gonna take out.
Has some like defensive reserves that are able to pin, but that's only like 3 stouts. But yeah, and Ragnar just chooses to take the free expansion and might even get out. But oh no, the action's starting. Ragnar kind of drew through. Was he hoping to inflict more damage? Oh, the main thing, Zlo shouldn't lose the construction vehicle again.
Backs it up there. Nice job.
Yeah.
He's even just going straight into reclaim here too, so not trying to cap those mexes again. Just
but Zlo didn't even like blink at that attack. He's still reinforcing with the medium tanks. I think he senses that the Ragnar's commander is out there, so he's gathering all of this army to go. But yeah, Ragnar's reinforcements coming, but they do not look in the position that he's suspecting that too much. But now maybe realizes that, you know, he has to pull some additional forces somewhere, or maybe set up a new attack on this side, because
and that's a lot of medium tanks.
From
and
what I look, the Law has managed to. All right.
This is so smart. This mine placement here. Any vehicles rotating around the map, hugging this cliff here, would run into these minefields. So really interesting positioning here. Even going on the extreme sides of these run-by locations on the top side and left side of the map.
Oh yeah. All right, I lost you a little bit, but yeah, were you talking about the mines?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really smart.
Oh yeah. It's like that the Zlo will discover the mines the hard way with like a couple of scouts. I guess it's the hard way, but it's the better way, right? Like he will be aware that there's like mine traps somewhere. So Yeah, is it Juno time? Can you afford? But he's gonna afford something else, something that could even be more decisive.
Yeah, looks like we have an air switch here coming out of from Zlo, so
Yeah,
he's pooling up some bombers here at the moment. And
and this is still like a pretty good win map. I mean, if the metal is plenty, you could go for the solar, but the metal is not that plenty, since everything gets reinvested in tank, and you have like a lot of free estates, so
it seems
wind
like
is a good choice.
3 or 4 bombers is the good number here. He's gonna move right into the scout and with some proper
Oh,
micro.
if you hold shift and space, you would see that just shift and space, yeah, together, you can see the queue,
Oh, okay.
the queue in order, and he's like queued up like a lot of different stuff. As I said, like Zlo really loves there, so he's probably happy to get like this exciting game. I'm gonna try to go for the.
Yeah, and like Ragnar's position, he's invested all this mass into these LOTs in the bottom left and a factory,
Yeah.
and I want to say Zlo could like attack strongly on one of these sides with kind of concentrating his forces, but he's gonna
Yeah,
start
the
off.
first one is that's probably was the biggest wind cluster there was, and there's still a lot of
All
bombers
right,
in the air.
he's gonna get another run, another pass.
Bombs the nettles, right? This is really dangerous versus this law. Like the nettles don't actually do much at all. So Ragnar's base only left with like a couple of AA guns, only one AA gun. And if he gets like these 2 constructors more, it could be
Oh yeah,
worth
they're
as well.
so low too.
And Slow also defeating another run by on the north. Loses an expansion in the process, but he's holding out and he might be able to do more bombing time, which he might now hit all of the mexes on the outer field, and that's one of the ways you can actually win by the air. That's how I lost versus Zlaw as well. It's just like you slowly get just bomb all of the mexes everywhere, and then you have just more tanks.
Yeah, just wait a couple minutes longer, and I guess the one problem is he can't really counterattack into these minefields, so he either has to take the top right or bottom left, really, to, I think, secure the win here.
Counterattack? Oh yeah, counterattack, yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, well, he's gonna try. It looks like the... Alright, it's either to the mines.
Oh, is he gonna start stealing these units? He has a couple of air transports coming in to pick up these bases.
I mean, they're pretty good ampere as well. I mean, like if you try to go for them, then... Yeah, and as you can see, there's the raid on the north position. Gonna go pretty juicy, I think.
We're gonna run.
Those light mines, right?
Yeah, those are medium mines even, so...
Oh, mediums, that's destructive.
Totally killed 2 mines, took out all those blitzes. That's actually really strong.
Yeah. Oh, still able to go into the base to drop some bombs. And as you see, still killing mixes on that side. So devastating metal losses.
He's got a half of the energy income as his opponent right now. Still relatively stable. It's low, actually. You can't spend his mass at the moment. Seems like
Oh,
it.
for sure. Even he's spending
he's,
all right
yeah,
now. He's
excuse
spending
me.
all right. Yeah.
He's looking at the bar in the top right corner. It looks like he's got a full mass bar. I got a couple of these construction aircrafts out that are going to be doing a lot of work here. Reclaiming these wreck fields here on the right and mid side of the map.
I don't see much action from both players. It looks like Law is trying to secure the wreck field on the south. That's his main important. Oh, he's trying to secure both of the wreck fields with the air constructor. That's really smart. Yeah, for sure. An easy way. If you could make like more radars as well if you're like scared, because it is tricky to attack on one side. You don't want to like base trade when you think you're ahead, and you got like a nice energy off, and it's like you cannot run through the middle directly to.
Right. Yeah, it's like so slow to run up those hills even.
Yeah.
That was a really nice attack right there, clearing out all those units and mexes there, and he can, he's got this construction aircraft to go and grab that reclaim as well. Slow's going to continue to attack forward, clear out more mexes and LLTs, and I think he's starting to really take a lead in this game.
Oh yeah, this was Ragnus has a counter attack there as well, but yeah, the numbers doesn't match, and the reinforcement distance is more closer, and then there's like even annoying banshees and stuff
continuing to do work. Yeah, so Ragnar's gonna tap out and take the game here. Yeah.
Ragnar.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. As I said, it well down, but I don't know. Like, it looked like Ragnar sniped. So at what point it went like really bad? Was there like the counterattacks? I think this was pretty interesting game because Ragnar was able to achieve his tactical successes, but yeah, he got bombed somehow.
Yeah, I think the first 10 minutes really, he really dominated the game. I think he had a better map position. He was able to get a couple of punches, take out construction vehicles, mexes, without really taking like army damage, right? So I think that
maybe army damage, yeah. With the Zlo, yeah, but I think wasn't it the Ragnar who sniped Zlo's constructor?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ragnar got a lot of damage in the I think the early in the mid game.
Early game, yeah. So how did Zlo really win? Like, where was that critical moment where Zlo, after losing construction bots, managed to kill? Just defended really well. Was it?
I think so. I mean, if you only have this much mass,
I feel like Ragnar had a good plan, but something in that plan didn't work out. He baited most of the army on the bottom, but then it eventually turned like a liability to some sort because Zlo was able to split off the right amount of army on the top and only lose expansion, but retake all of the scrap and somehow muster like a bigger infiltrating force and even get into the middle.
Yeah, and that air switch too did a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, the air switch was the real killer for sure. I mean, he bombed the biggest cluster. You could say that there's not much coming back because if the enemy just spends all its metal and doesn't flow the resources and just able to spend perfectly according to it's kind of hard. As you see, Zlo also going into energy converter economy at the end there. It was really juicing it up. Actually even floating more energy, right? So massive.
Yeah,
massive,
what is that?
7,000. Yeah, right. He's also running is it excess 115,000? Yeah.
That's like 25% pretty much, yeah. So
Zlo with the arm wind, you can print money apparently by the looks of it. If you take that much things and divided by 70, it's almost 2,000 metal just in energy excess. 1.8 thousand.
Yeah, that's a good little math right there. And something I've been continuing to be aware of in my games. I find myself clicking on that statistic button just to see what ratio am I at and winning the game, to kind of get a feel for that more and more, balancing that economy.
Yeah, I think focusing on the energy excess. I don't know. You usually most of the players like Randy build solars for no reason, or Ragnar doesn't generally like energy converters as an idea. But yeah, if you overscale, I think it's really important to look at your energy excess because maybe sometimes you can just get less energy and do more all-in stuff for some games, and from other games, yeah, you might throw an energy converter, or just don't queue up that many windmills as well.
Or just in range
balance at one point.
Construction turret, because if you make an early construction turret and move out of the base with your commander, it's it can be sitting there assisting wind turbines the whole time, and not only are you spending too much mass on wind, accessing that, but that build power isn't even going into army, so it's a double.
Yeah. You can find these other little strategies with I don't know, sometimes in the Comet I think is the best example. The first 4 solars I don't really queue up immediately, because if you just set one con immediately, making solars you overfold at one point, so you get the 8 and then you queue up a lot. At least it didn't work out for me.
Right.
Just setting up one con to making stuff. But,
yeah, on Red Comet you said?
No, with the CCR I mean.
CCR, right, okay. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, because it kind of works and it kind of doesn't work, and there's also stuff you can optimize. Another way is that you just build unlimited energy is just your playstyle, right? You just build like a
Yeah.
lot of windmills, and then you have a second con that makes the energy converters. And what I do is I put it on group 0, and then I press the group 0, and I just press like him to wait or not wait, depending if I see if I'm over. No.
Do you play
Because
on grid, or is that
no,
what
you
is
don't
it?
need grid for that.
Wait is Y. Okay.
Why? Yeah.
I do that a couple times, even like in the really early game. If I need to balance something, like the commander's building a solar and he's gonna start moving after that, I'll like pause like the factory or one of the assisting construction vehicles just for a moment to.
Yeah. Yeah, the weight actually I used to use when I started. Actually, I used like a lot of weight to stop the units to sometimes halt the productions because I didn't understand how priorities worked. With like the priorities now that I do much more like toggle things to low priority
Yeah.
as well for the certain constructors maybe. So yeah, I feel like your energy converter should always be on like low priority, not on the high priority. So you should change the priority on that construction so he doesn't draw like energy
Okay.
at the maximum, right? And
That's a great point.
yeah, and oh, yeah,
Maybe even advanced solars when you're trying to kind of get those online. I know it can be this can be really expensive getting those online.
yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, for the general viewer, I would suggest maybe if you're unsure like how to get the advanced local, because you can sometimes get energy storage if you're not sure before. That way, you kind of guarantee that you have the heat one for the one solar. But yeah, then the solar doesn't get that good. I think if in team games, for example, we were able to and get like an advanced solar train going early, like after like say 6 or 7 basics, it's really damn good. I know Teddy also loves getting them early.
In his
They can
team
be a good
games.
condition. I
Or,
think maybe even in the 1v1s, at least in the BA ones, you can. There's some things that you
uh,
can kind of just gamble on getting the first one, then you use the first one to scale to the second one, and if the opponent doesn't like kill you fast enough, suddenly you're just like you're way more able to
yeah,
expend
efficient
your
with the.
energy.
Yeah.
And you can reclaim the basics after that, and that's like kind of metal back, right? So it's like a gamble at some point. But yeah, but if like the meta is pretty like unit heavy, then it's really hard to squeeze in. I mean, 1000 energy versus no energy at all is
Yeah,
pretty risky
it's a
thing,
big
especially in the
change.
maps where metal is plenty found, and combat is one of those.
Yeah, well, that's about the end of the episode. Next week, we have the qualifiers going on, so maybe we can find some of those matches from the NA
Oh, for
qualifier.
sure.
Yeah, we'll have.
Oh, for sure. I think the first qualifier is going to be lit because everybody's going to be trying to advance through that first, right? Anybody who is serious through the tournament. So
Right, right.
it's going to
So,
be a pretty scary lineup. Yeah, I don't know if we do Do you do those maybe one of those prediction things or
definitely for the
do
main
you know
event
the
for sure.
brackets? Do
So,
we know the qualifier or when is it locked? When is like the last time you can like sign into it before
so
it's
I'd have to double check, but it's within a couple of hours, I think, of the tournament actually starting, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe like midnight the previous day it closes, and the tournament starts at like 8 a.m. So it's not too far. If you are interested, get signed up though. So you just want to get that out of the way so you don't miss out on that. But there would be 3 more to play in if you miss the initial one on Saturday. So it's going to be the Saturday, Sunday, the 2 weekends before the 30th. So they're starting on the 16th and 23rd.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the first one. Actually, it looks this very, but I might play the after those ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take maybe a free day off, play one day before, and play on the day.
Oh, that's good to hear, man.
Maybe I'll get in. So I don't know.
Well, I'd wish you luck. I'm pulling up the first event right now. Let me see if I can rattle off some of the
Nobody's
players.
doing the. Will you have any like streams on?
So it should
At
be.
the tournament time, or it's like when the players pick when they play their games once they know, or
As far as like streamer, like, is it going to be like available to watch online? You're asking, or?
yeah. I mean, will you record at the event when it starts? Like, who's gonna administrate it all then?
So it'd be between on the Saturday ones. It's going to be myself. I'll be around to admin, and then Waffle should be casting some of the games. I asked Brightworks to cast some of them, or just jump on during the qualifier
Oh, that's
matches.
pretty cool. So you're planning to spread the content through videos mostly about the good games that's happening, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully, and then have a chance to kind of talk about them on Saturday or Sunday at least. So still actually looking for someone to admin the EU ones. If not, I'm gonna have to pretty much do it myself a little later in the evening on Sundays for me. But
Yeah. Have you looked for help on the official Discord or just like?
yeah, so I've Taku should be making an announcement on the Discord, and I just had a chance to talk to Board King about having the bar official Twitch do the main event on the 30th. So that should be a yes for that as well.
Oh yeah, that should be pretty good.
Right, so gonna have that through there. So you can find the games on the bar official Twitch on the main event on the 30th. So should be some announcements coming up in the bar Discord. If not, I'm gonna try and do my best to advertise it more in the coming weeks. At least the main event for people who aren't so interested in participating and just want to watch the games.
All right.
Yeah, LSR, thanks again for jumping on. I've really been enjoying doing these
It was
shows.
pretty fun games. It's interesting. Zlo looked really strong, and Randy, while being with the highest lead, is also didn't manage to defeat the Teddy, which played, and it looks like the slow and steady wins the race, which I'm kind of surprised. Generally, these more aggressive strategies, more focused there.
Mm-hmm. Really sharp.
Usually won
Yeah.
like a lot. Like it killed people, but it's interesting to see that both the Teddy and the Zlo was able to just grind it out and make energy converters and just slowly win, right? Not with and win with the tech generally with the bombers.
Right,
mostly.
right. So I'm hoping to see more of that in the future games, more Tech 2 even. So as players get better, we should see longer, more exciting matches.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Right on, man. Oh, that's it for me. Thanks everyone for watching. LSR, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. See you all.
Catch you guys later in the next.
Yeah. Cheers.